Hey everyone, it's Doshi. Welcome back. This is going to be vlog number 2. This one involves a crazy guy who goes all in blind, like for $500-$600 for a couple of times. I kind of get involved with him with one particular hand, and then there's a couple of bluffs that I'm trying to pull off. And one of them is a sizable one, and that's the first time I ever put that much amount of money into a bluff, and we'll see if that works out or not, but you'll see it in the vlog. uh, Also, I want to explain what bump pots are, because the last vlog I didn't explain in detail what bump pots are. There's maybe a lot of you that don't know what a bump pot means, so I'm just going to quickly explain what they are. So bump pots in this particular game that I was playing, that if there's a new player or a new dealer change that comes about, everyone puts in a certain amount of money. In this situation, it's $25. So everyone puts in $25, and then they go to the flop. And after the flop, it has a regular action. So it goes to the small blind, big blind, and so forth and so on. And so they can regularly bet. And that happens for the dealer change as well as a new player. Okay, so that's what bump outs are. As for learning about no limit hold'em, you can go to Google, and there's a lot of tutorials out there to explain what small blind, big blind, and the actions on the flop, turn, and river are. So please go and check that out. Next thing is, yeah, I do play a lot of sessions. It doesn't mean that I vlog all of them, because of the fact that sometimes they're not vlog worthy, or or I just don't feel that they'd be a good vlog. But for the most part, you guys can follow me on my Instagram account, which I'm going to show right here, and I will go ahead and post my results there if you guys want to follow there. If you have any questions or anything for that matter, you can of course DM me through there, as well as the YouTube comment section down below. But yeah, enjoy the vlog, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. All right, see you guys later. Bye. As I'm sitting down, I notice there's an all-in pre-flop, and he's first to act, and he goes in all for $500. And sounds a little weird. I look at the player, and oh yes, it's not weird at all. I've seen this guy many times. He does this a lot. He goes all in pre-flop, doesn't care about money, throws $3,000-$4,000 on the table, and leaves happy. He's a very nice guy, and he just likes to gamble. So this table is going to be pretty crazy and a lot of fun. Get ready, guys. I think I get involved in one hand with him. We had to move seats because a player wanted my chair as soon as I sat down. So we're currently seated at the 6, which I don't prefer because the footage is not so great. But anyways, our first hand we get dealt is 8-10 of clubs on the dealer button. At this point, the game was playing 5-5-10-20, and then the mid position 1 makes it a min raise of $40. And then there's another caller of $40. I make it $140 to go. Comes back to the initial raiser, and he flats, and the other player folds. We go to a flop, which was ace, jack, deuce, all rainbow. The player checks, and I make a simple C bet of $105, and he folds. So we're on a good start. At this point, my stack is at $920. There's 4 limps to us, and we look down at ace deuce of clubs. Well, since there's about 4 limps, I want to go ahead and take down the pot right now, and I feel that a lot of people don't have anything interesting, so or strong holdings, that is, and I raise it up to $80. Only the button calls $80, and then we go to the flop, which is jack 5-7 with 1 club. The pot's around $190, so I go ahead and make a C bet of $110. And now the button calls.
So at this point, I'm thinking, well, if I don't get a connecting card with my hand, I'm just basically going to shut down and just give up right there and then. So the turn comes out a deuce. Oh wait, we have some equity now. We got a pair. I'm thinking of a double barrel. Let's do this. So since the pot's around $410, I go ahead and make a hefty bet of $320. At this point, my stack after that would be around 400 and some odd dollars. So I'm looking for a jam on the river if nothing comes or anything for that matter. And so after the player tanks about maybe just under a minute, he decides to call. So now I'm trying to control my breathing. And I'm thinking in the top of my head, Doshi, you fool. You're never going to Vegas and the Mirage. Your pipe dream's going to go down the drain right here, right now. As reality kicks back in, the river is a king of spades. Okay, is this our savior? Is this the card that's going to actually make me or have the opponent think that I've hit my card? Well, the only way to find out is, you know what, is to jam. So I go ahead and jam for my rest of my stack, which is, like I told you, it's around 400 some odd dollars. And now the player is tanking. It's a good long tank. We're talking about at least 2 minutes. And then finally, he calls. And obviously, at this point, we know we're not good. The player shows a pair of jacks and takes down the pot. And now, of course, I'm thinking, great job, Doshi. You just punted some money away. Well, guys, let me know in the comments, was this a donkey move or should I have not executed a 3-barrel bluff, or should I have just checked on the flop and folded on a flop bet? I don't know. So after that loss, I had to rebuy for another $800. After a couple orbits later, losing to the ace deuce of clubs, we pick up ace king offsuit on the big blind. We have 2 limps, and then the button makes it $30. I go ahead and re-raise it to $110. Everyone else folds except the button, who calls. We go to a flop, which is deuce 5 king, and I make a continuous bet of $100, and the button folds, and we pick up a small pot. The next hand we pick up is king jack suited on the button. There was a pre-flop raise of $30, and so there's 3 callers to the flop. The flop is 8-9 deuce rainbow. The flop gets checked around, and then we go to the turn, which is a 10. The initial raiser bets out $45, and mid position calls $45, and I go ahead and call as well. The river is a jack. The initial raiser checks again, and the mid position checks as well. Since there is a 4-liner to the straight, I don't see a point of betting. I go ahead and check, and our jack king is good. We take down a small pot.
So this next hand, I kind of get involved with a crazy guy who goes all in blind. So there was probably 2 hands in a row that he went all in blind, and it comes to a point where the next hand I have ace-9 suited under the gun, and I go ahead and limp. And I'm hoping that he goes all in because he could have anything. So he does go all in. He has about $500 or so into his stack, and it goes to the small blind, and he's contemplating to actually do something now because of the fact that he's noticed as well that he's been going in all in blind and has been showing his hand as well. So basically, after about a minute or so, he does realize that I'm in the pot, and for him to actually know that, and then on top of that call, um, it it reassures me that he has a strong holding. So it comes back to me, and after that particular logic that I had in my mind that he has a strong holding, I go ahead and fold. So they end up going to a run out. the run out is 5-8 king, and then the turn is a 7, and the river is a jack. So he shows 5-8 for 2 pair, and the small blind shows ace queen. So I would have lost if I had called anyways. If the small blind didn't call, I would have lost $500. So luckily I got saved right there.
In this hand, we're playing 5, 5, 10, 20, and I pick up queens under the gun, and I go ahead and limp again because I'm hoping that guy, the crazy guy, is going to go all in again. But sadly, he folds this time, although mid position 1 raises to $110. It goes around to the small blind, who contemplates and decides to call. Of course, I'm not calling. I'm going to go ahead and raise it up. I make it 420 to go. Goes back to the initial raiser, and he's thinking, and decides to call. So the small blind gets out of the way, and we go to a flop, which is 10-8 deuce. At this point, I'm just taking a couple of seconds, close to 10, counting in my head, and jam, all in. I have about $400 to $500 behind me. So with this said, he has good odds to call if he's gonna draw, and he does end up calling. The turn is a jack, and the river is a 5. The player shows ace king, and he misses, and we take down a hefty pot. We're up now around $200 to $300, and we pick up king 10 of hearts, and we're on the $20 straddle. It goes to the mid position 1, who makes it $90, and then the small blind calls $90. Getting good value, so I decide to call the $90 as well. We go to the flop of 5 of hearts, 6 of hearts, and 9 of spades.
The small blind checks, and then I check to the initial raiser, who bets out $210. The small blind snap calls to $210, and with that kind of movement, I feel that the small blind has some kind of small pair with a draw, and then I don't think the initial raiser hit the board at all. So I want to take down the pot right now. I make it $675. It goes back to the initial raiser, who snap folds, which is great news. So now it goes back to the small blind. Now, quick note, guys. There's a voice changeover because of the fact that I bought a new microphone, so the voice quality is much better. So I apologize for this late transition in the vlog. But back to the hand. So now he's tanking, and while he's tanking, I'm thinking what I'm going to do once he makes his move. So if he does decide to call, I'm planning to make a small bet on the turn, and then go all in on the river depending on what comes. So he does decide to make the call for $675. Yes, I'm a little bit worried. This is my second bluff, and this is, by the way, this is the most money I put in a bluff. If I'm gonna bluff, that is, or whatever. So the turn is a 5 of diamonds, and now he checks again, and it's back to me. So again, the game plan is to bet small. I go ahead and bet out $400, which is very minimal compared to the pot. The pot's already ballooned up to like $1,500, $1,600, and so after this small bet, he tanks for a little bit, and then decides to call. And of course, I was expecting him to call, but still, it's a bit scary because I also need to make another move, which is on the river, depending on what comes. So the river is a queen of spades. And now, of course, I have to go for it. I jam for the rest of my stack, $800 to $900, and instantly he folds. Oh my gosh, that was such a big relief. Oh my gosh, I was just sweating so much, and I pulled off the bluff, and it feels great. I don't know about you guys, but pulling off a big bluff, it just seems so invigorating. Anyways, so after that, I played a couple more rounds and headed out. Hey guys, just ending my session with that 5-5-10 crazy game. Sometimes 5-5-10-20, sometimes 5-5-10-20-40. But that King 10 of Hearts was the hand that kind of made the session for me. Yeah, there was some. It was a battle back session, but luckily that last hand that I played was pretty major. It was close to a $3,000 pot. And yeah, it was pretty nice. The winnings, I counted my chips. I think it's around $1,200-$1,300, but you'll see it somewhere over here, the in and out profit. But overall, it was a great session. I'm pretty stoked about that move that I made. But I feel that the wagering on the turn was a little bit off. I should have probably jammed. I think that would have been the right decision to make. But again, my reasoning is that I want to bet small, to the fact that if my river bet doesn't come through, that I want to jam on the river. Because if that player was holding, let's say, a small pair with a draw, he might have called on the turn. So again, that's why I went all in. But yeah, overall it was a great session, and Doshi out. Subscribe, like, and comment.